So this is our second video of series of endocrinology. Here we will see the function of growth hormone. This series is suitable for CSIR NET JRF specially and for M.Sc student also. Students preparing for M.Sc entrance test in life science is also suitable for them. So let's start our video. In the previous video, we have seen about growth hormone, how growth hormone is regulated and what are its function in very briefly. But in this video, we will see the function of growth hormone in detail. So let's start. So growth hormone is also somatotropic hormonal somatotropin. It contains 191 amino acid and has molecular weight of 22,005. Okay, you remember all this stuff. 191 and 22005. So an experiment was carried out with mice where one mice was injected with growth hormone and another mice was there but not injected with growth hormone. This mice received growth hormone regularly and the second mice did not receive any growth hormone injection. Okay, so what was the observation? The first mice during its early developmental stages, means after its birth, all the organs of the bodies grow proportionately. That means the length of the bone was increasing, the diameter of the bone was increasing, the muscle mass of the body of the mice was increasing, and the soft tissue was also increasing. But when these mice reach adulthood, still it received growth hormone. Continuously. And when the mice reached adulthood, what was the observation? Most of the bones stopped lengthening, but many of the soft tissues continued to grow. That means before adulthood, everything was growing in proportionate manner, although growth hormone was injected. Although the mice was receiving growth hormone, before adulthood, every organ was growing proportionately. But when the mice enters into adulthood and it's still continuously receiving growth hormone, the length of the bone stopped growing, but the soft tissue continue to grow. That means after adulthood, there occur some changes. Before adulthood, length of bone and soft tissue, everything was growing proportionately. But after adulthood or during adulthood, length of the bone stopped growing, but soft tissue is still growing, and the mice is continuously receiving growth hormone injection. Okay. In case of second mice, the body mass do not continuously growing, it becomes stagnant here. But in case of the first mice, it continuously grows. Okay, so this was observation. Then come the function of growth hormone. Growth hormone promotes the protein deposition in tissue. In the previous video, we have already seen that growth hormone increases the protein deposition in tissue. But how it increases the protein deposition in tissue? Let's see this in this video. So growth hormone directly enhances the transport of amino acid through the cell membrane into interior of the cell, increases the nuclear transcription of DNA from RNA, enhancement of RNA translation to cause protein synthesis by ribosome, decreased catabolism of protein and amino acid, and growth hormone enhances fatty acid. Okay, so just tell me how protein is synthesized. Protein is synthesized when DNA is transcripted to RNA or mRNA specifically, and then mRNA is translated into protein. And for protein translation to occur, we need amino acid in the cell. So if I want to increase the amount of protein, what are the factors that I want to increase? First of all, amino acid have to increase, then mRNA amount have to increase, and to increase the mRNA amount, the transcription of the DNA to RNA have to increase. Also, the RNA to protein, the process is known as translation, have to increase. So, if the transcription of DNA to RNA increase, then translation of RNA to protein is increased, and amount of amino acid is increased, then obviously amount of protein will increase. So growth hormone exactly do these things. Growth hormone exactly do these things. It increases nuclear transcription of amino acid to form RNA. Okay, it increases the amount of RNA. Then enhancement of RNA translation. It increases RNA translation. Then enhances the transport of most of the amino acid through cell membrane, means amino acid will increase. So in this way, growth hormone increases the amount of protein in tissue or cell. Also, it decreases the catabolism of protein and amino acid. That means growth hormone also inhibits the degradation of protein. Because if protein gets continuously degraded, then amount of protein in tissue will get decreased. So it inhibits the degradation of protein. Second function, growth hormone also enhances the fat utilization for energy. Growth hormone releases fatty acid from adipose tissue. We all know that adipose tissue is responsible for storing of fats. So growth hormone releases those stored fatty acid from adipose tissue into blood. Growth hormone enhances the conversion of fatty acid to acetyl-CoA and is used for energy. So growth hormone, what it do? It stimulates the adipose tissue. To release fat into blood, and then also convert this fat into acetyl-CoA that is used in Krebs cycle. That can be used in Krebs cycle. Okay. Growth hormone act on adipose tissue to release the stored fat in blood, and that fat is converted, or the growth hormone helps to convert the fat in the blood to acetyl-CoA, and that acetyl-CoA is used in Krebs cycle to generate energy. Growth hormone decreases the carbohydrate utilization. It decreases the glucose uptake in tissue such as skeletal muscle and fat, increases glucose production by the liver, and increases insulin secretion. Growth hormone increases the lipolysis and blood concentration of fatty acid, likely to contribute to the impairment of insulin actions on tissue glucose utilization. Experimental studies indicated raising the blood level of fatty acid above the normal rapidly decreases the sensitivity of the liver and skeletal muscle to insulin effect on carbohydrate metabolism. Okay. So what it do? So what growth hormone do? Growth hormone increases the amount of fat in blood. Increases the amount of fat in blood. Also, here you see, increases the glucose production by liver. Means when liver will produce more glucose, then glucose will increase in blood. Also, it decreases glucose uptake in tissue such as skeletal muscle and fat. When skeletal muscle and fat When skeletal muscle cannot take up glucose due to the presence of growth hormone, that means the amount of glucose in blood will also increase, because from the blood glucose cannot enter into the skeletal muscle due to the presence of growth hormone. Also, growth hormone is stimulating liver for production of glucose, so in the blood glucose will increase. So when glucose in the blood gets increased, then insulin secretion is also increased. Insulin secretion is also increased because function of insulin is to lower the blood glucose level. So when the insulin see that there is higher amount of glucose in the blood, so it gets secreted to reduce the amount of glucose in the blood. So here glucose is increased in blood, so insulin secretion will also increase to lower the amount of glucose in the blood. But if growth hormone is continuously increased or it remains high for a long time, then what will do? Growth hormone will continuously try to increase the glucose in blood. At the same time, insulin production is also increased. It will continuously increase the insulin production, because in the blood continuous there will be glucose concentration will up high, and as a result insulin production will continuously high. So it will continue to increase at high concentration. At a time, at a later stage, a time will come when insulin will say, like, now I am now tired, I cannot do work. Although insulin is secreting at a higher concentration, but at a time insulin will get tired and it will not work on glucose, cannot work on glucose, because for a long time a high amount of insulin is secreting and it is acting on glucose to reduce its level, but growth hormone is again increasing the glucose level, and continuously insulin is also acting to lower the amount of glucose in the blood. As a result of this, insulin is secreting, glucose is increasing again, insulin is secreting, glucose is increasing again, insulin is secreting, glucose is increasing again. Due to this, at a time, insulin will become unable to act on blood glucose. This is known as insulin resistance. This is known as insulin resistance. And due to this insulin resistance, there will be always high amount of glucose in the blood, because when insulin become resistant to glucose, that means now insulin is not able to lower the amount of glucose in blood, then there will be a continuous high amount of glucose in the blood, and this is responsible for causing diabetes. Okay, this is responsible for causing diabetes. Indirectly, you can say growth hormone also induces diabetes. Next, growth hormone stimulate cartilage and bone growth. It increases the growth of the skeletal frame, increase deposition of protein by the chondrocytic and osteogenic cells that cause bone growth, increase rate of reproduction of the cell, a specific set of specific effect of converting chondrocyte into osteogenic cell, thus causing deposition of new bones. So let's understand this in whiteboard. Just a second. I forgot to open this. So see, bone growth, how it works. Bone growth. It increases the skeletal frame. Okay, deposition of protein by chondrocytic and osteogenic cells that bone growth. Okay, first of all, what it will do? It will deposit protein. How protein is deposited, we have already discussed. 10. Increased rate of reproduction of this cell means chondrocytes and osteogenic cells. Mean osteocytes and chondrocytes will reproduce. Growth hormone will reproduce osteocyte and chondrocytes. That will increase the bone. And specific effect of converting chondrocytes into osteogenic cells. So growth hormone will also convert chondrocyte into osteogenic cell. That will increase the bone growth. That will increase the bone growth and causing deposition of new bones. Okay. There is another two cells. One is osteoblast and another is osteoclast. These are two types of cell. Osteoclast remove bone and osteoblast add bone. In simple language, it add bone or increase bone diameter. Increase bone diameter. Okay, suppose this is a bone. Okay, this is known as epiphysis. This is known as epiphysis, and this portion is known as shaft. This is again epiphysis. During early days, what happened? There is a epiphyseal cartilage here. Epiphyseal cartilage. There is cartilage. In here also cartilage. Here cartilage. Okay. In the presence of growth hormone, this shaft region is increased. This shaft region is increased by using the cartilage of the epiphysis. In this situation, in stage 1, you see the epiphysis and the shaft, this epiphyseal bone and the bone of the shaft is joined by this cartilage. This epiphysis and this shaft is joined by this cartilage. Okay. So in the presence of growth hormone, what happened? This cartilage is increased in length. So here you can see this cartilage is increased in length. You see here, this cartilage is used up. This cartilage is used up, and as the cartilage is used up, here a very thin line of cartilage remains. This cartilage is used to increase the length of this shaft. In the third stage, you see here, in this third stage, there will be no cartilage. So this was a thin line of cartilage. In this, you can see this cartilage is used to increase the length of the shaft, and now there remains no cartilage. This is third stage, and this portion is later converted into bone, because previously it was cartilage. Previously this portion was cartilage. Now this cartilage is used to lengthen the shaft, and later this region is converted into bone. Now in the first stage, the bone of the shaft and the bone of the epiphysis was joined by cartilage. Now the bone of the epiphysis and bone of the shaft is joined by bone, means there is bony fusion. Between epiphysis and shaft. Okay. In this shaft region, there are two types of cell. One is osteoblast, one is osteoclast. Osteoblast, it increases the diameter of the bone by depositing bone material like this way. And osteoclast, it removes the bone material. So growth hormone stimulate the osteoblast. So when growth hormone stimulate the osteoblast, the diameter of the bone increased. The diameter of the bone get increased. So in this way, growth hormone increases the bone. Then one more thing, you see, IGF-1, we have already seen this in our previous video. IGF-1 somatomedian, its concentration in the plasma is closely follows the rate of growth hormone secretion. Children with deficiency of IGF fail to grow normally even though they may have normal or elevated secretion of growth hormone. The pygmy people of Africa, for example, have very small stature due to the congenital inability to synthesize significant amount of IGF-1. See here, this is pygmy people of Africa. It cannot synthesize IGF-1. This is synthesized from liver. When the growth hormone act on liver and liver produce IGF-1, and this IGF-1 is responsible for structure or the height of the person. So pygmy people have a hereditary disability to synthesize IGF-1, although they have good amount of growth hormone, but they cannot synthesize IGF-1. As a result, they become short people. In this picture, you see this is osteoclast and this is osteoblast. How the cells are looking, osteoblast and osteoclast. This is formation is done by osteoblast and resorption is done by osteoclast. They remain here. Okay. So this was all about the function of growth hormone. In the next video, we will see the regulation of growth hormone. So if you find our video useful, please hit the like button, share among your friends the video, and also subscribe the channel. Okay, thank you.